Right.
Well,
Yeah.
can I say I'm with? Am I allowed to say I'm with Great Nana today or not?
Yes. Yes. Great, Nana. Yes, that's fine.
Yeah. The boxing dynasty continues, Carol.
It does. Yes, it does.
How do you feel about? I know how nervous, having been around you for years, around Ricky and Matthew, Richard and Matthew, as you call Ricky. What does it feel like with on the cusp of your grandson Campbell making his professional debut?
Well, it's a bit like I said to you. It's like deja vu. Who'd have thought? Like from my two, Richard and Matthew, going into the boxing game, which was like 20 years ago now. That grandson Campbell is following in his dad's footsteps. It's quite amazing, really, and to be honest, a little bit unreal.
Are you having kind of like memory recall with all those nerves you used to get when Matthew and Richard were boxing?
Yes, definitely. It's like stepping back into time, because we are, especially when I hear like Blue Moon and everybody's getting so excited about Campbell's debut, and it does actually, it brings a lump in my throat, and also very, very nervous for him.
Have you had times when he has been kind of coming up through his teenage years? Obviously, you knew him as you'd say, a little baby.
A little baby.
A little baby. Have you had times where you've thought, God, I don't really want him to carry on. I don't want him to box, because you went through so much with Ricky and Matthew?
Yeah, I think it's proving to be a little bit more stressful for me with Campbell making his debut on Saturday. I think it's probably an age thing, because we actually thought all the tension of the boxing and the worry and the dieting and being sort of focused, we thought those days were sort of behind us, and then we've got Campbell comes along now, and we're back to where it all began with Blue Moon.
Do you think you've seen something in Ricky with it happening, that it's rejuvenated him? And I know he's training other guys, and Matthew is the trainer of Campbell. But have you seen it kind of light a fire in Ricky, that his son is following his tradition?
I think so, yeah. Richard never actually pushed him to do the boxing, because Richard knows himself. It's not a job, it's a lifestyle. You know, you've got to eat, sleep, breathe, the boxing thing. So I think once he realised, I mean, when you do amateurs, Gareth, and you have amateur fights, you just think, oh, they just, you know, it's not real. Even though it is serious to them, you think, well, it might be just a phase that they're going through. And then when it dawns on you that is what they want to do, they want to carry on the boxing name. I think Richard now, and don't forget he's a granddad, by the way.
Exactly.
Granddad Hitman Hatton. So yeah, I think Richard's in such a better place now with us all, and I think it's going to be an emotional night for his dad on Saturday, and he is, it's everything sort of come together. It's great. Nervous, but great.
One of the things that is different now from the generation of Ricky to Campbell is, and I've spoken to Campbell about this, and Ricky's very open about this, there'll be no ballooning up in weight and, you know, and going on holiday for months between fights. And that's something that Ricky's going to pass on to Campbell, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. I think Richard, he was the first person that called himself Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton. There's only one Ricky Hatton. So I think he will pass on, maybe, should you call them mistakes, to Campbell. It's going to be, if he sees Campbell doing anything silly, and plus Matthew, just because he's his son and nephew, trust me, Gareth, he will get away with nothing. If he needs a rollicking, he will get one. If he's eating too many pies, he will get told. Because it's very hard.
Yes, carry on.
Very hard, isn't it? I mean, I think when every boxer, they've done 12 weeks of training camp, and when the fight is over, of course, yeah, you've got to relax. You've got to come down after your fight in your training camp. You've got to enjoy yourself, but not to extents.
Are they very similar characters when you see them? When you,
oh God,
you know
yes.
them, Ricky and Campbell.
Yeah, they could open their own show, little and large. And Matt, Campbell takes the mickey out of his dad. He calls him this and he calls him that, but he is really a chip of the old block. He's got the same personality. Yeah, they're a double act. Great sense of humour, the pair of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Does that make you feel? I know you get nervous when any of your family box anyway, but does that make it a little bit easier that he is that chip off the old block, that you kind of know he'll be all right?
I think when you say he'll be all right, do you mean in the training camp, or can you just explain what you're saying?
Just with the pressure of it all, with carrying the Hatton name, with even the physicality of being a boxer, you must worry about that bit anyway. But
yeah. Go on, I'm listening.
But no, it's whether because they are very similar, because you know them so well, and that that Campbell is a chip off the old block.
Yeah.
Does that lessen the worry for you with him stepping in there?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't lessen the worry. I think Campbell is a chip off the old block. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and Richard would be the first one to say, "Look, don't do what I did." And Richard can explain himself to Campbell more, because Richard knows that his diet was up the wall, and in between fights he gained weight and then he lost it. So I think Richard is entitled to passing his wisdom, experiences onto his son.
Was there ever a moment in the last few weeks when you found out that the debut was in Gibraltar and then you knew you couldn't be there? I suppose there might have been a way of getting there, but not being ringside, does that affect you? And will you be having a little bit of that Lucozade?
Oh God, a little bit of the Lucozade, Gareth. I'll be having a bloody gallon. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I do feel sorry that his mum and his family, especially his mum, isn't able to get over to Gibraltar. Because speaking from a mother's point of view, you want to give him the last kiss before he goes in the ring, and when he comes out, the first kiss or hug that he'll get when he comes out of the ring. But it is what it is, it could work both ways. A lot of people, a lot of boxers, they like the crowd to spur them on. It's nice for everybody shouting your name and this, that and the other, but sometimes it's got its disadvantages, because the red mist can come down and get too hyped up, and that's where mistakes can be made. So it's just got to do what it is. It is what it is. It's going to be there, quiet, listen to Matthew in the corner, but he knows everybody will be rooting for him.
From memory, you went to every one of Matthew's fights and every one of Ricky's fights. Once COVID and lockdown allows, are you going to be at every one of Campbell's fights?
What do you think, Gareth?
I think no one's going to be stopping you getting through the door, basically.
Nobody. Good old days, yeah. And it's affected every sport, hasn't it, this COVID? But there's no amateur shows. It's so sad. But yeah, definitely when things are back to normal, maybe this year, maybe next year, we'll be certainly on the front row with my little body.
Well, your Lucozade, as we call it, yeah?
Lucozade, yeah. Vodka and tonic diluted in my Lucozade bottle. You know the score, Gareth? You know the score.
I think I might have done the story years ago. Yeah.
Yes, you did. You did. You did. You did. Yeah.
Well, listen, I hope it's a successful night for the Hattons. I'm sure you and Ray will keep your nerves yeah, exactly. Fingers crossed. It's lovely to see you. You look so well. Looking forward to seeing you ringside soon.
Yes, and you too, Gareth, and congratulations being a granddad.
Thanks very much, Grandnanny.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Amazing. Absolutely.
All right, Gareth. Okay, thank you.
Cheers.